Did you think that that was a handball, Mark?
Well, it's clearly a handball. The question is, and when you read the IFAB rules, it's about whether or not there's a pass or a dribble after the handball, if it wasn't intentional, that leads, then they score a goal, that it wouldn't be classed as a handball. I'm not quite so sure. It's a very close period of time from the handball to the ball and up in the back of the net. And I understand why Slaven Bilic is aggrieved by it.
And of course, just for the benefit of our viewers, the rule that Mark has mentioned actually does say this officially. It says it is not an offence if, after an accidental handball, the ball travels some distance, a pass or a dribble, and/or there are several passes before the goal or goal-scoring opportunity. Peter, you have no disagreements to the decision that's been made in regards to that?
No, I'm disagreeing here because that was nearly as good as it was a control of a ball. Well, you know, when you support in one side, you can interpret the rules the way that suits you, I guess. But at the end of the day, the situation will be debated more and we can have more clarity from experts on what they think it is. But obviously it impacted the game, and Slaven Bilic, you know, his own opinion was kind of unfair because if the ball doesn't find the hand, the ball goes out of play. So, and he has all the 3 points. So yeah, I can't give a definite, you know, opinion on this because I still have to be, you know, objective. But the first feeling I have is I think it should have been given as a handball.
Are you a little bit disappointed with the rule change then? Because last season that would have been a handball, Peter.
Well, they're still tweaking, you know. VAR came in, but I think it's a positive addition to the game. Personally, from day one, I thought I've been in situations where with VAR, I would have probably got to the quarterfinals of a World Cup against France, and a lot of times defenders do hold on to us, and, you know, lots of positives from VAR, but they change it a little bit to make sure they're getting everything right. It's a kind of work in progress, so it will take a couple of times. But I think, you know, the things that affect teams, sometimes it will go for you and sometimes it will go against you. So maybe during this season we'll witness the similar situation go for West Brom. So no real complaints because I think at the end of the day it balances it out.
What
the question is, though, the big question for me, though, is if it were the other way around, Pete, so if West Brom defender handballed the way they did, should it be a penalty?
I would say yes. I would say yes, but you know, there are always.
I wouldn't have said it was a penalty. I wouldn't say it was a penalty because his arm is actually close to his body, and it's unintentional. He's clearly not looking at to handball the ball. And for me, I don't think it would be a penalty. It shouldn't be a penalty. But that's the question, isn't it? I mean, everyone says it's handball. Yeah. The flip side is, if a defender does it, is it a penalty?
Yes, as much as VAR is useful, it's still at the discretion of, you know, human error can still. That's why some of the decisions will be debated still. But yes, from a player perspective, what's fair is if there was an intention. In this in this instance, there wasn't much of an intention. The hand wasn't right close to the body though. So, you know, some players can be very tricky. They know a little bit how high to hold the hand up, you know, and before VAR came in, they don't hold it like this when they jump in, because nowadays the referees say, I remember the years where they were saying, hey, no jumping, watch your hands, because sometimes players pretend like they're trying to protect their face, but they kind of go pushing the referee, you know, because it will be the referee's risk to give a penalty or not, you know, so players do have a little bit of tricks. So that's why they're trying to find a medium where, you know, is it intentional or not? Because when you're making yourself bigger, I'm sorry, you know, you could make yourself big enough to stop a ball and across and say it wasn't intentional. So I think it's still going to be, there will still be a little bit of a gray area in this rule.
So what's the biggest trick you've ever gotten away with then, Peter?
A trick.
Since you mentioned it.
No, you know, when you're running by a goalkeeper, You make yourself bigger, but usually they do it with hands, but we do it with legs. We stretch our legs towards the goalkeeper so he catches it.
That's no secret, Pete. That's no secret. We see that time and time again. Strikers still do that to this day. Just in the old day, I got a penalty given against me in the Premier League at home with Middlesbrough against Manchester United. And it was Ronaldo who was through, hit the ball too far, and he dived. And from the referee's angle, it looks like I'm close to him. It looks like I may have touched him. When you actually see it, I am literally about 2 feet away from him. And he dives. And he gets up and winks as he's given the penalty. The referee actually apologised to me about 3 weeks later. I saw him again. He said to me, he went home and his wife gave him an earful because she said, I can't believe you made such a bad mistake. He said she said the distance between the goalkeeper and the striker was so great, there was no way in the world it was a penalty.